We are given two vectors, v1, which equals 2, negative 3, and v2, which equals negative 1, 4. And we are going to find the sum, v1 plus v2, and the difference, v1 minus v2, and the scalar multiple, 2 times v1, and another scalar multiple, negative v2. And when we write our final answers, we are going to write them as linear combinations of the standard unit vectors. Recall that the standard unit vectors are I, which is the vector equal to 1, 0. So I is the vector that has only a horizontal component, and it is equal to 1. And the other standard unit vector is j, and it is a vector that has only a vertical component, which is also equal to 1, so that j equals 0, 1. So to begin, we will find the sum, v1 plus v2. To do this, we will add corresponding components. So here we have our two vectors, v1 plus v2, and when we add these, we are going to add the horizontal components together so that we have 2 plus negative 1, and then we will add the vertical components together to have negative 3 plus 4, so that when we add these, we create one vector. And adding the components separately, we have the vector 1, 1. And how we are going to write this using the standard unit vectors is we will take our horizontal component and we will multiply it by the vector I, because the vector I has only a horizontal component. And the same with the vertical component. We will multiply the vertical component of our vector by the j vector, the standard unit vector in the vertical direction. To simplify this expression, remember that 1 is the scalar multiplicative identity, so that we will have just I plus j. The subtraction will be very similar. So when we subtract v1 minus v2, we will set up the subtraction of the vectors, and then we will subtract corresponding components. So we will subtract the horizontal components, 2 minus a negative 1, and then we will subtract the vertical components, negative 3 minus 4, and we end up with 3, negative 7. And then to use the standard unit vectors, we multiply the horizontal component by the I vector and the vertical component by the j vector, so that our difference is 3i minus 7j. To multiply by a scalar multiple, like we have here when we determine 2 times v1, we can write it like this, and when we multiply the vector by the scalar multiple 2, we're going to multiply each component within the vector. So we'll have 2 times 2 and 2 times negative 3 to give us 4, negative 6. And again, horizontal component multiplied by the I vector, vertical component multiplied by the j vector. Negative v2, we can treat this as a scalar multiple as negative 1 times v2, and so we will multiply each component in v2 by negative 1. So we have negative 1 times negative 1, and negative 1 times 4 which gives us 1, negative 4. And this corresponds to 1 times I minus 4j, or I minus 4j.